You're very welcome to this special episode of Out and About in Ireland, where we're coming to you from the FTMTA Farm Machinery Show here at Punchestown.
So this event, the FTMTA Farm Machinery Show, Alan, is run by the FTMTA, the Farm Tractor Machinery Trade Association, trade body representing the machinery trade nationwide, 32 counties. About 1989, the RDS, we ran our first dedicated farm machinery show. I suppose the older viewers will remember the spring show, long-established event, hugely important for farm machinery, was in decline at that stage, was no longer addressing the requirements of our members and of our trade, and in conjunction with the RDS at the time, we launched the FTMTA Farm Machinery Show. In 2003, we moved here to this site in Punchestown, which obviously gives us the use of this purpose-built at the time as a National Agricultural Event Centre. Huge amount of hard area outside for the marquee areas we need, and in fact in recent years we now have a second permanent building here as well. So the show has evolved an awful lot over those years.
What would you feel was the major change that needed to happen to kind of better suit your clients, your customers?
I suppose, look, Dublin was changing anyway, and the type of traffic, like we've been here building this show over the last number of days, our vehicle movements in out of here would obviously typically be 40-foot trucks carrying heavy machinery. It's not type of stuff the guards like to see on the Anglesey Road. Like we'd have been dealing with 100 vehicles, 140 foot a day here for 3-4 days. We're very easy access here off the M7, and Punchestown has a lot of parking, and we need a lot of parking. And the rural backdrop, I think, suits the thing very well, as we're nesting here in nice kind of countryside as well.
Is a lot of business going to be done here over the few days?
Absolutely. I suppose our show, while it is a show, it is open to the public, but it's a show that our customers are the public, and they're here to do business. Our figures that we would do post show every 2 years, 90% of the farmers who will come in here over the next 3 days have a specific, at least one purchase in mind, and maybe more than one purchase. They may not be planning to actually complete that purchase for 12 months, but they'll use this show. So they're looking at a tractor, for instance. Every tractor manufacturer is represented here, and they're represented at manufacturer level, not retail dealer level. So you've got a tough question that the guy from the factory needs to answer. He's here. You can do your, I suppose, comparison shopping, and you go home and think about it. You will have deals completed here as well. There will be deals that maybe people have been working on for a number of months, big ticket deals, maybe on a combine or something like that. You need that final bit more to get it over the line. Well, the right man will be here to get the questions answered. I suppose farming is a business where the mechanisation is, it is the tool of the trade, and the investment in that mechanisation is an ongoing process. And there's all, as I say, some will come with one purchase in mind, and there's other people who may have 4 or 5 purchases in mind.
One of the big examples you gave to me earlier was John Deere. It's not every show that they do.
John Deere do 2 shows in Ireland. They do our show here, the FTMTA Farm Machinery Show, and on alternate years we have FTMTA Grass and Walk in Corteen. Those are the only 2 shows John Deere are represented at. There may be a John Deere presence at other smaller shows, but it would be true dealers. John Deere back 2 shows in Ireland, the 2 FTMTA events.
If there's a farmer out there who's looking to maybe trade up, is that typically the type of customer you're here, or are the guys here looking for the new technology, the latest development in maybe a piece of machinery that hasn't been out before?
I think there is, look, I mean, you have an element of renewal and replacement because you have a lifespan on your machine, and that's, I suppose, we're not making any new farmers, so that renewal and replacement is a big thing, and be it your tractor, your slurry spreader, but there's also an awful lot of new stuff coming on the market, so you're adding to your machinery stock, if you like. And a big thing I've noticed over the number of years I'm doing these events, the amount of electronics, the amount of GPS, what they call precision land management, land guidance systems, where it's all about using your existing machinery but plugging it into some kind of a guidance system which gives you more control. Like, you're putting out very expensive chemicals when you're spraying, or indeed if you're applying fertilizer, you want to make sure you go up the field once you put it out, and you come down and you put it out in a new place. So a lot of stuff, and that can be retrofitted to existing gear.
Well, it's there. We're going to leave it with you, Gary. We're going to take a little trip around the show and see exactly what's on display.
Abbey Machinery is a family-owned business based in Nenagh, County Tipperary. We're operating just outside of Nenagh. We just moved into a purpose-built, state-of-the-art site based on a 30-acre field. We've been operating since 1947. Originally it was a foundry, and the family then built or launched the Abbey brand in 1947, and it's been going since then. We manufacture a range of feeders, which you can see behind me, toppers, tankers and pumps for handling manure and feeding cattle. So the FTMTA show is one of the most important shows for us every 2 years. It's a good show to get our product out there. People can see what's new, like our new 9-foot topper this year, our rapid pump that we've just won an award for at this show. It's an award just to acknowledge our continue striving towards engineering excellence. We're trying to push the boundaries within our products, within launching new products that cope with the demands that customers are facing with the more larger volume in slurry that's being required to be mixed and processed. So the pump facilitates that with an increase in 30% increase in capacity with this pump. I think what customers are looking for, as the customers get a bit more professional, or as customers are very professional in their day-to-day business, they're looking for a partner, a brand they can trust on, that has passion to build products, reliable products, that are built with the strongest of engineering background, which is something that Abbey prides itself on. It's been operating for a long number of years, and it just prides itself on building robust, strong, well-engineered products. And I think customers in this day and age are looking for products that they can trust, and they know when they go out on a cold, frosty morning, the product will be there, will stand up and work.
Congratulations on your award. Actually, it's not the first award you've received for this tractor.
That's right. We're very proud to have won the award here at the FTMTA show, but in 2 weeks' time in the SEMA show in Paris, we'll get a gold medal for this tractor.
And what is it about that tractor that has attracted so much attention?
Well, really the difference is the cabin, and there's two things. The first one is that very easy to see because it's visibility, and you've got tremendous visibility from above your head all the way down with a front loader to the ground. But in order to get that visibility, we've had to engineer the cab in a very special way. So it's full ROPS and FOPS compliant, meaning it's got all the same safety and security of any other cabin, but without that bar that blocks your vision across the front.
That must be a huge advantage. I mean, most tractors will be at some stage used with a loader, and that visibility has always been particularly a concern in terms of safety.
Whether you're using this on a livestock farm with a loader every day, or using it in an arable situation, maybe with a plough in the back, you'll still need that forward visibility for when you're loading fertilizer spreaders or seed drills. So yeah, very, very flexible tractor, which has been designed for livestock and arable purposes. So we've opened 5 new dealerships in the last 2 years in Ireland, and this is part of our growth plan. Ireland's really booming for us in agricultural machinery. January, and this year so far, in the first 4 months of our financial year, we're up 20% from our business in Ireland. So we're delighted, and the 5 new branches in Limavady, in West Cork, in Ennis, in Abbey Leagues, and now in Granard are all contributing to that.
Apart from the safety, which obviously is so important, what are the key features that you find people are talking to you here at the show about?
Well, the main thing that we push on our tractors is comfort in the cabin, and one of the features we have that is still unique to class is 4-point suspension. So like a motor car where you've got on each wheel you've got a suspension point, we have that on our cabins, and we're the only tractor manufacturer still today with 4-point suspension. So if, like me, you've got a bad back, it's really, really great to drive in the Class tractor.
What's next for Class? What's the next development that you have in the pipeline? Have we got an exclusive here?
There's always something new, of course. You'll have to wait perhaps for Agritechnica in November in Germany to see that, but certainly we'll have more new tractors, and we're also looking at extending our product range in other areas. So yeah, Class is growing worldwide. We now have 2 factories in China, 2 in India, factory in North America, a new factory in Russia, so really a global player today.
That's all we have time for in part 1, but join us after the break when we'll be exploring more here at the FTMTA Farm Machinery Show. You're very welcome back to Out and About in Ireland, and we're here at the FTMTA Farm Machinery Show here at Punchestown. There's over 160 exhibitors here, so there's still plenty more to see.
On behalf of the Farm Tractor and Machinery Trade Association, I would like to welcome you to Punchestown for the FTMTA Farm Machinery Show 2015. The FTMTA Farm Machinery Show is our flagship public event, taking place in alternative years. But today is all about the FTMTA Farm Machinery Show here at Punchestown. Farm machinery manufacturing is one of our largest, domestically owned, export-orientated manufacturing sectors, and as such is the type of business which is vital to the rejuvenation of the Irish economy. I hope that you, visitors and exhibitors, have a very enjoyable and successful show. We appreciate your ongoing support. I declare the FTMTA Farm Machinery Show 2015 to be officially open. Thank you. So for my term of presidency in the FTMTA, 3 very important areas relating to our businesses. First of all, we have the whole issue of farm safety and the huge amount of tragedy surrounding farm accidents in the sector. Secondly, we have education, and as machinery becomes more technologically advanced, it's the training of the young people coming into our industry for the needs of the future. And thirdly, we would have to focus on the Irish farm machinery manufacturing sector, hugely successful and growing businesses in terms of exports and employment, which is much needed today in the Irish economy.
You paid homage as well to some of the organisers here. I mean, they've put on a serious show here, and a lot of work went into it.
Thanks to the FTMTA executive, led by Gary Ryan, who's the chief executive, this is our biggest and most successful show to date. We're blessed with the weather today. Huge amount of bigger and better and more sophisticated machinery, especially outside. The show was completely sold out in November. It's hugely successful, and we're absolutely delighted. As you know, or as your viewers will be aware, this is a biannual show. It's held every 2 years. It's organised for the trade and by the trade, and it's been running since 1989.
I think because of that biannual aspect, there's a lot of anticipation for the show, isn't there?
New products. It's a good time of the year. It's in February when people are gearing up for the season ahead. We've been going around this morning giving out awards. So the FTMTA, in conjunction with the Farmers Journal, have announced a new awards programme and we've been going around and looking at some very innovative machinery, and they've got some 3-star awards. There's also 1-star and 2-star, which we're delighted in conjunction with the Farmers Journal to be introducing these products onto the Irish market.
James, every week you're reviewing machinery. This must be like a dream to you to be here.
Oh, it's fantastic. Anytime you put 30 million worth of machinery into an arena that I can walk around and get stories from and inform our readers, it's definitely the place to be.
What are the things that people are looking for here today? What's the advance that they're looking for, that they're hoping to find today?
Yeah, well, a lot of new products are launched here at the FTMTA show, so new tractors that they would have been reading about in the journal. It's their first opportunity to see them in Ireland is at the show. Companies like Class and Agco and New Holland, John Deere and loads of more that I can't remember, but they will launch their products here. So it's a fantastic opportunity for the Irish people to get in, get a look firsthand on what's been reviewed or maybe in development for the last couple of years. It's
also a brilliant opportunity to increase awareness of farm safety, which I know is something that's close to everybody's heart this year.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, unfortunately, it's something that's after rearing its head again, even 2 deaths this year. That's something that the industry and the farming industry in general will have to tackle it head on, and hopefully we won't have too much more bad news to be reporting on that level. But it'll take a kind of collaborative response between everybody and the individuals themselves. It's a big responsibility we have to take on. It's a big responsibility everybody has to take on to try to reduce the levels.
What's the appetite among, I suppose, viewers of TV, readers of the journal? What's the appetite like for shows of this type?
Always a good appetite for a show. It just seems to be, if you look at the Plough Match, you look at the FTMTA, the Irish people just seem to like to come out to the show. They like to enter interaction. They get a chance to meet their dealers. Dealers get a chance to meet the customers, and then the other ordinary people just get a chance to walk around and just see the technical developments and innovations that's here. Now, Irish innovation is incredible. We've Samco, we've McHale, we've Malone, High Spec, and they've made a good international presence. They've solid products exported to China, New Zealand, America, South America. It's brilliant for them, and the real benefit of an Irish company is it's made in Ireland, it's local Irish jobs, and the money's going back into the county. So it's really good from an Irish perspective that our Irish machinery companies are doing well.
How important is this show to the Farmers Journal?
It's very important, and we get a chance. We meet all our people here, as you can see on the stand, and we get a chance to interact with our readers. They can give us feedback on the content, what they like, what they don't like. We're able to gauge, we get a barometer of the industry and a feel for what we need to do for the future or for the next forthcoming year. And it's really good for us to interview, not interview the people, but to meet them, everybody, trade, dealers, and the ordinary puncher or farmer.
Believe it or not, I'm the 5th generation in the blacksmith business, so we've been in farm machinery for quite a few years. We originated from the blacksmith shop in Rathangan in County Kildare.
Well, you've come a long way since that.
Yeah, certainly have, and the market has been good. Cross Engineering would have been known for the sugar beet industry here in Ireland. Of course, that closed down in 2006. Then we had to find an export market for our machinery, and that has done well over the last number of years with anaerobic digesters and the want of sugar beet. We now see where there's 177 million tonnes of sugar going to be shortage in the world next year. So we look forward to that, and hopefully the business will grow with that. If it works in Ireland, it works anywhere in the world. We have the wettest climate, we have stones in the ground, we have huge horsepower, farmers buy horsepower, so we can test any machine we like here in Ireland.
So since the sugar industry probably took a little bit of a plunge in Ireland over the last while, you've also got some other machinery here that are very much a serious part of your catalogue.
Oh, of course, yeah, like the dairy farmer is very important to us. We make slurry tanks, we make muck spreaders, slurry agitators, and we also make tillage equipment.
The type of customer you're going to have here over the weekend, are they looking or are they buying? What are you expecting to see?
Oh, we'd hope they're all buyers, but look, this is our showroom. Like, if we're not here, we have a problem. This is the main showroom, the main show for the next 2 years. It lets us communicate with our customer to know what they're going to thinking of, what way the market is going, So this is very important to build our business for the next 2 years. This is one of the important shows of the year,
I know you mentioned earlier you have a huge export market. Where is most of your product exporting to?
Germany, believe it or not. We make machines in Rathangan to export to Germany. New Zealand is very good to us, Canada, France, and of course our home market, but we class it as our home market, is the UK, because it's only across the water, across the pond, as to do say.
Robert, tell me about Samco.
Samco is a family-run business from Adair, County Limerick, and we're an innovative company that have a machine that lays a degradable film, sows maize seed and herbicide on the ground. It's our core business. We manufacture the film also, and also a range of other agricultural equipment to do with maize and other associated crops like that.
It's quite a specialist product, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's quite specialised in detail, and I suppose you can see that from our amount of exports we have. We're a good exporting company that way, and we specialise in a lot of markets in Canada and other parts of Northern Europe and further afield to China and so on. But it's quite specialised and detailed in what it does, and bringing a higher energy type feed to farmers in cooler climates who find it difficult to grow crops of maize.
And what's Ireland like for maize as a producer?
As a producer, I suppose it's a maritime climate, so it's quite cool in the summer. Maize is a C4 plant, likes a lot of heat, originally tropical. So we have all the water in the world we have here, we're lacking the heat element. So by using the degradable film and sowing the plant earlier, we can get quicker germination and make use of the lovely long days in June that we normally get to grow the plant successfully. Ireland's primarily a grass growing country, but we use maize as a buffer feed to supplement the grass during the summertime and winter feeding for cattle.
So as a manufacturer, what are the challenges you're facing at the moment?
I suppose a lot of challenges are we're on the edge of Europe, we're far away from everywhere, we're a long way from America, and we're on the edge of Europe. So for us as a manufacturer, good key skilled labour and also innovation. We have to be innovative in what we do. So you see that in a lot of the industries in Ireland. We're innovative and specialising in certain niche markets, and that's why we look for people in staff and in the ability within the company that we have good guys and good girls as well. I must say we can't be genderised that way, but we need good people that way, innovative people.
Are there particularly emerging markets around the world for that?
South America is starting to come on in line a little bit now, in Chile, also in Canada has come on a good bit in the last 2 years. Even with the low grain prices, our speciality in how we can get the high quality energy in the starch and in the grain is a big help. And also in China, we're starting into China quite successfully in more northern areas where they want more dairy cows and beef cattle, and they want to feed them properly, which is a big issue for a lot of these new emerging markets.
That is something that farmers are probably becoming more aware of, more conscious of, is trying to actually contain their own, or actually produce their own feed for their own stock.
Yeah, I think a lot of farmers have to become more cost smart, I suppose, to know when it's worth paying money for something. I say a lot, there's no such thing as cheap and expensive, it's good value or poor value. So a lot of farmers have to understand their own cost base, and maize can offer them a good cost base for buffer feeding or winter feeding, and we see it more and more people we meet. In general, more agricultural customers are becoming quicker to watch out and understand better the costs of producing something now.
It's there. We have to take a short commercial break. We'll see you in a few minutes' time. Welcome back to Out and About in Ireland. We're here at the FTMTA Farm Machinery Show here at Punchestown, and we're going to find out a little bit more about some of the technological advances in farming. What's your role in the FTMTA?
Well, my role within the FTMTA is Member Relationship Manager. So with the FTMTA we would deal with a lot of issues from our member firms that would be joined the association. So we could get queries from, it could be some issue got to do with a VAT registration, it could be got to do tractor registration. A lot of our members then would be interested in tractor statistic figures. We would So I would deal with our member firms in them areas. I would also call out to member firms if they had opening days, support their opening days, very important as well. And also then I'd be very heavily involved with the shows as well. So like I joined the FTMTA in 2013 in November. So my first show was the FTMTA Grass and Muck 2014. It was a great success. It was a great event. All the exhibitors that I spoke to after the show, which is important, said they were very pleased with it. That the feedback was very positive from it. So then, I suppose leading on from that, then we were brought into the next show. Comes around so quick after one show on to the next. So then we were back to the FTMTA Farm Machinery Show 2015. So we were been planning for this for 6 months before. So there's a lot of planning goes in, a lot involved to it, I suppose, behind the scenes. From the initial stages of sending out the application forms to getting them back. So like the closing date for applications to be returned for this show was 31st of October 2014. So I'd say the first week in November we were sold out for this show. And also now we had, I suppose, even there last week we have 30 to 35 firms wishing to exhibit at the show on a waiting list. So the interest has been phenomenal.
Guys, tell me about this latest development you have here.
It's a compactor silage shredder, really. Multi-purpose shredder is what we would call it. So it's it doesn't tip, so it's safer and can carry more produce per area. So that's what it's about.
John, you've designed this. What was the inspiration behind it, if you like?
I suppose I'm a contractor on my day job, and I was just looking something that would be safer and carry more produce, and cut down on, running costs. So that's where it came from.
Oh, and from John's design, you've got to take over the manufacturing of it. How do you go about that?
Well, we initially have a lot of input as well from John on the kind of technicalities and the drawings as well. So for us, as a manufacturer of kind of vacuum tanks and feeders and rear discharge spreaders as well, John has provided a lot of information to us. So it's very, very simple for us to manufacture this kind of trailer in Bagnallstown. And hopefully we will kind of establish then in our dealer network for sales in Ireland and the UK.
What was the typical kind of operation or function or even equipment that you're trying to replace with this?
I suppose the old-fashioned tipping trailer, really. So this is more of a machine than a trailer. It can adapt itself to a lot more jobs, and I suppose the key thing, it's safer, and more efficient. So that's the main feature with it.
So how much time has actually gone into designing and manufacturing this? So we'll take the design first.
About 3 years, I'd say I'm at this stage. So, it is ready to go now, and then, hopefully we'll get cracking on it straight away and get a few out there working for this year.
And in terms of manufacturing it?
This particular model was manufactured just by John and just brought to high spec for finishing touches. So after the show, everything will be made in Bagnallstown in our production facilities. So we would see manufacturing will be okay with this in a week or 2 weeks for a complete unit. It'll be okay.
But I can see a lot of people very curious and standing on the hitch there, trying to have a look in. They're very curious, so I'm sure they're all going to be looking forward to full-scale manufacturing.
Yeah, so we would hope to get the ball rolling on this next week when we'll demo this particular machine. We have lots of people interested in this machine, from agricultural contractors to industrial contractors. Such a wide use for this particular model that we, I think, have a machine here that would suit a lot of industries as well.
Michael, what is it that you do?
Tankco specialise in bale wrappers and also in the feeding implements for feeding the round bales of silage, and last year we brought out a new machine that will feed pit silage and the bale silage, and we also make some of the handlers for lifting and stacking the bales as well.
That must be one of the biggest challenges. I mean, you go to such an effort to wrap the bale, and trying to transport it and move it without damaging the wrapping must be a challenge.
Yes, we have one machine especially for that. You can put it on to the loader, so you can pick up your bale, wrap it and stack it all with the one machine.
the tedious tasks that previously existed for farming, they're really being challenged, like companies like yourself, to really kind of make it all a real easy workflow, just once you've got the machinery to do it.
Yes, well, the machine for the bale shear for feeding the bales, that takes a lot of the work and the hassle out of the bales. A lot of the times, one of the things that turns farmers off of feeding and making the bales is actually handling them in the wintertime. So the bale shear works, there's a little jaw on it. It sticks a little bit proud of the back plate. So when you go to close the blade, it nips the plastic, or it clamps the plastic and the net, so you never have to get out and touch the plastic of the bale. So it alleviates a lot of the time and hassle and dirt involved with feeding the bales.
What's the availability and the quality of the plastics like? I mean, is it a challenge finding those materials?
No, it's not. No, there are various makes of plastic out there on the market, so the machines will work with them all. And the net on the bales, there's various makes of the net, but the machine, because it clamps the plastic in the net rather than piercing it, it doesn't puncture the bale, so it retains some of the strength of the plastic in the use of the machine.
So your latest development is the Vari-Wrap, is that right?
Yes, it is, yes. So the Vari-Wrap, more and more we see that farmers are using 6 layers of plastic on their bales instead of 4. So the big advantage of the Vari-Wrap is one of the options you will be able to get it in 3 plastic dispensers. So traditionally your 4-layer bale with 2 plastics, it will take 8 rotations to wrap it. With the 3-arm Vari-Wrap, 8 rotations will put on 6 layers. So, again, you're saving time there. And also, the machine that before it on the lift arms, you would have to drive into the bale to pick up the bale, wrap it, and then drive out to pick it up. Whereas the Vari-Wrap, the right-hand arm opens out, so you drive up along beside the bale, and as it closes in, it rolls the bale into the machine. So the speed is from quicker loading and unloading.
MJ, everybody else is really excited about tractors and combine harvesters. You've found something over here in the corner that's quite unassuming, but you're really excited about it.
I'm very excited, Alan. Look, you left me alone for a while. It's like leaving me in a sweet shop. But I've come across this very, very innovative product. I was telling you earlier on the farm at home, we rear quite a lot of calves. And the way we used to make the milk powder, similar to a baby formula, get your powder, get your warm water, shake it up. The only problem is when you're doing it for 60 or 70 calves, it means you're doing it with...
It's an awfully big bottle.
Yeah, it's 500-600 litres. So the old style way used to be a giant big barrel, pour in your hot water, pour in your powder, and then just lean into it and give it a mix with a wooden spoon. Then you'd be going with your bucket and you'd be carting it out, and it was very intensive work and quite heavy on the back. This product is a unit whereby you put in your warm water, you put in your powder, you press a button, it's on a motor, it mixes it all up for you, and then you say to yourself, when I saw it first I said, oh well, I'll still have to bucket the milk up into the calves. But there's this ingenious petrol pump style device on it which shows the litres you're feeding, so there's no room for error. Once you press it, your milk comes out and you can see that you're feeding 10, 20, 30 litres or whatever the case may be. This is a very, very, very good product, and I think the way it's built, it'll last very long. It'll take an awful lot of work, unnecessary work, out of calf rearing for farmers.
Well, I can see Noel here from Bolak. I'm going to invite him in for a moment. Noel, we're having a great day. MJ's quite excited about this here now.
I'm very excited, Noel.
Yeah, so are we. It's a fantastic product. Basically, it takes all the drudgery and hard work out of feeding calves on farms, particularly this time of year. Can mix, you put in your water and your milk powder, give it 2 to 4 minutes, turn on your mixer, and away you go. So basically, as was pointed out, you have your nozzle, there's no heavy lifting involved, etc., and it tells you the amount of milk per calf that you want to feed. So it's a simple invention, suitable for rough terrain, wide wheelbase, pump, CE marked, very strong Irish plastic, and a good product, and a lot of interest in it here today. So.
firm or company go about joining the FTMTA?
So if there's any dealer, retailer, manufacturer interested in joining Farm Tractor Machinery Trade Association, they can contact myself. My email is membership@ftmta.ie, and what we do then is we go through the process where I would call out to their premise. We just go through the process of signing up. We have the application forms. We go through the process involved of then getting joined up. So I go out and get the pictures. Then it's put to an executive council meeting. So then if it's all clear there and it's passed, they become members of the Farm Tractor Machinery Trade Association. So I suppose look at the mission of the FTMTA is to promote the highest standards within the industry. So look, that's the message we're trying to get across, and that's what we will be saying to all the dealers or member firms.
Well, as you can see, there's plenty to see and do here over the 3 days at the FTMTA Farm Machinery Show. We'll see you after the break. You're very welcome back to Out and About in Ireland. Now, there's some really big names here at the FTMTA Farm Machinery Show, so we're going to have a chat with some of them. We've all seen McHale equipment in fields and on the roads, but tell us a bit about the history behind the company.
McHale is a company that was set up by my father, Porrick, and my uncle Martin about 30 years ago now. Initially they started on manufacturing handling equipment and block cutters, slurry pumps, things like that. Then gradually they got into bale wrappers and started early 2000s we got into balers. So at the moment we specialise in balers and bale wrappers. Our main products are integrated baler wrappers. Our main manufacturing plant is in Ballinrobe, County Mayo, and from that plant we send product into 50 countries around the world.
I have a cousin who's over in Australia and New Zealand, and they're seeing. He said we're probably seeing more McHale equipment out there than we are in Ireland. You really are global at this stage, aren't you?
Yeah, well, Australia and New Zealand are two very good markets for us. Probably the way our business works is we follow the seasons around the world. So, first market every year in 2015, the first market that will start going for us is Canada. Then it will come into some of the European countries where they take more cuts of grass than we take in Ireland. So the likes of Holland, Switzerland, Austria, where they take 4 to 5 cuts of grass. Then through Ireland, UK, France, Germany, all those countries up into Scandinavia. And then come July, August, we start shipping to Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Africa and Korea.
Something we're seeing a lot of here at the show is equipment that's maybe combining some processes that were otherwise separate, and you've done that quite well with the baler and wrapper, the integrated system. What kind of level of design and I suppose thought went into actually creating that product?
Well, quite a bit of thought went into it. Probably in 1999 to 2000, farmers and contractors were looking for more and more efficiency. And from that point of view, there was pressure on manufacturers to try and combine processes into one. So with the introduction of combined baler wrappers, such as the Fusion, it eliminated the need to run a second tractor and also have a second driver. So with the Fusion now, you can do up to 60 bales per hour, and at 60 bales per hour, you're getting 48 to 50 tonne of material processed per hour with one man and one tractor. Overall, the Fusion's very, very unique to McHale. We have a number of key patents on it, and through those patents, we deliver over 10% more output than any other integrated machine on the market.
So what's next for McHale? What's the next innovation that's in the pipeline?
Well, at McHale we have a core team of people in research and development. So we've 20 people in Ballinrobe, full time, working on new products and new developments. Probably bale wrappers is our business at the moment. We continue to expand in those areas. For example, in Ireland, 9 out of 10 balers sold as a fixed chamber or roller baler that makes a 4 foot by 4 foot bale. But on the continent, there's more of a demand for machines that can make bigger bales up to 5 foot 6 foot. So over the last number of years, we've developed a number of machines for those type markets. So going forward, we'll continue to develop machines that suit our key markets around the world.
John Deere is a very long line manufacturer, so we provide products that cover most of the requirements of the Irish farmer. So this year we're very pleased and proud to introduce our new 8000 series self-propelled forage harvester. This is a machine that's been a long time in the making. Had a long and detailed development program, and I'd say it's a machine that we've really designed and engineered based entirely on customer requirements. So we've taken all the good points, hopefully from the previous model, and we've spent a lot of time talking to customers and incorporating all their requirements in the new machine.
How important is that process of engaging your customers?
This is very much the way in which we develop new products today. We have what we call an ECAP, an enterprise customer acquisition process that we operate in the company globally, and it starts with the very first phase is getting customer insights into what they want to see in products in the future. Just one small example with this machine, which you might not think is particularly important, but the customers all told us it would be great to have a really nice toolbox and a set of tools on the machine. So when they open one of the doors at the back, there's a nice pull-out section with the toolbox. So that's one small example, but we believe that in this machine it's a real step change from the model before, and we've tried to incorporate everything that customers would like to see.
Will you talk to me about the evolution of comfort in the tractor? This might sound like an odd question.
Well, I'm getting a little bit long in the tooth, so I think I can probably remember back to times when there wasn't so much comfort in the tractor. But this is it's very, very important from a health and safety point of view, from the giving users or operators the ability to actually work through long days and get off machines feeling relaxed at the end of the day. And it's not just a question of noise level and seating and suspension and things like that, but what's equally important is a lot of the smart technologies that we have today. So things like auto-track guidance systems that will turn machines around at the end of the field and engage them back into work automatically. On the combines and forage harvesters, we've got automation that will adjust the machines to optimize performance, minimize grain loss, all these types of things. And operators do tell us that these days, they can go out and they can work a very long day in the field, and because mentally they've been more relaxed, you're not having to think about all of these, where do I steer the vehicle, what do I adjust, and so on, that they can actually get off the machine at the end of the day in a nice relaxed manner.
You've also got a restructuring of your dealership, if I'm not mistaken, within John Deere?
Yes, thanks for asking us about that. I mean, this is a strategy we've been pursuing very actively right across, actually globally, but particularly across our region, which is Europe. And again, it speaks to the technology where machines and solutions that we put into the market are so technology driven that the traditional family, single outlet family business that you might have seen in the past simply does not have the scale to be able to put the expertise and the capabilities in place to fully support all this new technology. So we've been very actively encouraging our dealers to get together through mergers and acquisitions, and that's something that we've done very successfully. So across the region we've reduced the number of dealer businesses by about half, but interestingly we've increased the number of locations, which is important to the customer, how close their dealer is to them. We've actually increased that by 10%.
Graham, you're a man that perhaps the farmer on the ground doesn't always get to see. You're mostly supplying business to business with your parts. Tell me, what is it you supply?
We supply about 30,000 different product lines, and it's a large mixture of different brands, mainly high-end brands which are being used as our way on a lot of different tractors and machines throughout the market, and it's across most machine types.
What's the typical type of part that will be kind of in most demand from your company?
Very much in the Irish market, slurry tanker business would be a big part, because of obviously dairy and beef. There's a big requirement for slurry tanker components, and we would represent a number of the brands that are quite important on the slurry tankers.
In terms of actually getting those parts out, you use a very local network, don't you?
We do. We use distribution from local areas, so local couriers. Customers can order from us up to about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the day, and they'll get goods between 10 and 11 the next morning. And that's a guaranteed delivery service that we do every day during the week. So
there's a lot of a drive, I suppose, at the show here for people upgrading machinery and developing, I suppose, developing their fleet and upgrading it. Is there still a demand for parts for some of the older tractors? Are people finding it difficult to get their hands on those?
There's still a demand for it, but I would say to you that it's really a mixture for most of the parts suppliers, covering both older machines and trying to stay up to date with the newer machines that are in the market.
Who's really emerging as suppliers, as manufacturers now at the moment?
Well, from a manufacturing point of view, we've got some very good companies in this country, between whether it's McHale Farm Machinery, Richard Keenan's, Connor Engineering, Abbey Machinery. There's a whole mixture of manufacturers in there that are very, very strong.
You've also got a role, obviously, on the Executive Council of the FTMTA.
Absolutely.
What does that entail?
Well, essentially it's trying to, I suppose, get the structure of the trade right, so that we can service the farmers' needs to the best of the trade's ability. So it's trying to get everybody to work in cooperation on the basis of doing the job right, and ultimately, I suppose, that's in everybody's interest to do that.
I mean, sometimes you might have companies who would consider the guy down the road to be competition, but you're trying to bring those people together to work in cooperation. Is that difficult to do?
It's not so much bring them together as just keeping the standards right from a customer perspective. I think in the end, if we're offering the customers a better service, obviously they're able to work with the machines much easier, and that's what everybody's trying to achieve. And ultimately, if they're making better money by being more efficient with the mechanisation of farming, then ultimately that's our opportunity to also earn from that as well.
That's all we've time for here at the FTMTA Farm Machinery Show here at Punchestown. Thanks for watching Out and About in Ireland. We'll see you next time.